All right. So far we learned about the basics of indexing, and let's go ahead and learn about the advanced level of indexing, which is called slicing as well. By the way, one more thing to mention. If we start counting indexing from left to right, then it is like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. We can also count it from right to left as well. But in that case, it has to be negative counting. For example, if I say -1, then it will mention this last index. Okay. If I say -2, then it will be the second last index. -3 is the third last index. Let's check it out. So if I say str of -2, so what should be -2? So I'll come over here. This is -1. Negative indexing will start from 1. It will not start from 0, because 0 is a neutral number. So 0 can either be over here or the left hand side, or it can be over there at right hand side, right? So if we are going to start indexing from right hand side, then it will start from -1. So dot is going to be -1 and s is going to be -2. So if I run it, it gives, it's not str, it's str1. Cool. So now you see, we are we can reach to s from both directions, from left to right by using positive indexing, or from right to left by using negative indexing. And then slicing, a very important operation for any kind of data structure. If I want to pick up a sub string from this whole string, let's say I have blue eyes, and I only want to pick, let's say, blue, okay, not eyes, just BLUE, starting from B, ending at E. How can I do that? There are multiple ways to do that, obviously. We can do it by using looping as well, but there is a smart way. So we'll say str1. Now, inside this indexing operator, square bracket is also called indexing operator, I mentioned earlier as well. We have to do two things. We have to write the starting index. From where do we want to start? So starting index is what? 0, right? And then the index, ending index. Where is the ending index? This E should be ending character, right? So index of E is 3, right? So 0 and 3. Cool. So I'll write 0 and 3, but I have to separate them by using some character. So that character is going to be, colon. So 0:3. At left-hand side of the colon, we have starting point. At right-hand side of the colon, we have ending point. But there is one issue. Let me run it before I talk about that issue, right? If I run it, I got only BLU, not E. Hey, 3 is the index of E. Then why E is not included in the output? We only have BLU. So the thing is, this slicing operator does not include the letter of ending index or the element of ending index. If I want to include E as well, then I should mention one index plus the existing index. So existing index is 3, so I should mention 4. Then it will include 3 as well, right? Why? Because it is using less than operator over there, right? So it will print the whole string from index number 0 until less than index number 3, right? So if I write 4 over here, now you see we have blue including E as well, right? Remember, here the first index should always be smaller than the second index. Otherwise, it will not work. For example, I can also mention colon -2 over here, and it will work perfectly fine. Now, you might be wondering that, hey, you just said first index or starting index should be smaller than the ending index. This -2 is not the ending index. And by the way, let me not ruin the original example. Let's come over here. Okay, so this -2 is not the ending index, is not smaller than the 0. Then how it will work? So basically, if I come over here, what is 0? 0 is this index. So this is the smallest index. What is -2 index? I'm not referring to -2 number. I'm referring to -2 index. The negative 2 index is this one, actually index number 8, right? So negative 2 is not smaller than 0 in terms of indexing. And you see, it will work perfectly fine. What was the negative 2? Negative 2 is S. So it printed blue eyes until before S. Does that make sense? Okay, so we have covered two things now, negative indexing and slicing. One more thing before we finish this video, which is jump. So we can also take a jump as well. For example, if I say string 1, and I want to print out from index number 0 till index number 8, and I want to take a jump as well. For example, I want to print B, and then I want to skip L, and I want to print U. Then I want to skip E, and I want to print this space, and so on and so forth. So I want to take a jump of 1, right? So if I want to do that, I'll write 2 over here, right? So it will print out every second character. By default, there is 1 over here. But if you don't want to work with 1, you can write 2. And you see, it says B, that is coming from here. Then L is ignored. Then comes U. Then E is ignored. Then comes space. Then again, capital E is ignored. Then come Y. And then our indexing completes. Right? You can make it 3 as well, and whatever you want. So this is how we can add a jump to any string as well. String operation can also work like this as well. For example, I can write this whole string over here, and then actually I can store it in another string. I'll say string 2, and then here if I show string 2, come on, oh, str2. Okay, so this is our string number 2, and over here, over here I'll say 0 colon, let's say, I don't know, 15 colon 2. There we go. So it is just printing out the alternative values, and then I can do it like this as well, right? You can write at it at your end later on. Finally, the open-ended indexes, which means if I say str2, remember now we are talking about this string. Okay, so if I say, let's say starting from index number, what is this? Index number C, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. C is at 4th index. Starting from 4, and then colon, and then there is no ending index, which means that we are working with open-ended indexing theory. So if I run it, you see it starts from 4 and it goes until end. Does that make sense? Why? Because it does not know where to finish, where to stop. So it goes until end, but it knows where to start. So it starts from C, it starts from color, but it goes until end, right? And another thing is, if I say str2, what is str2? str2 says the color of the eyes is blue eyes. And then here, if I say str2, colon first, right? And here I'll say 15. Now, it does not know where to start. So it will start from absolute beginning, but it knows where to end. So it will end at index number 15. Like this, right? And if you want to experiment it, you can write it without anything. So it does not know where to start, starting from beginning. It do not know where to end, so ending at the end. So this is how the indexing works. By the way, let me repeat it one more time. The whole indexing principle that we discussed over here will work exactly same for all the data structures. Right? So later on, we are going to talk about the other data structures as well, and the procedure of using the indexing thing on the other data structure are exactly same that we performed over here on the strings. So I hope the string operations are quite clear. Now about the strings, there is still one more thing left, which are built-in functions. There are a few built-in functions that we can use for strings, and we will be using the built-in functions for string, and that thing we will learn in next module. But before that, in next video, you will see how we can use a string inside a for loop. So let's go.